The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. We're going to take a look here at the German DAX. Boys and girls, if you like head and shoulders patterns, this is one. I mean, it's about as perfect as you can possibly get. It has all the mathematical notations that you need from Andrew Lowe's book, the Non-Random Walk Down Wall Street. Time and price between the head and shoulders are correct. I've also posted in the one for the FTSE. It's making a 3-drive pattern, totally different patterns. Ideally, they're coming in here. Now, we do have this lunar solar cycle. Hello, we had a new moon and a solar eclipse here yesterday, and we're going to see whether this is some type of a market turn. But we're seeing a bunch of them that are there. I've got a very, very special show today, folks. I hope you like it, because if you don't, it's too bad, because I want to do it anyway. Let's take a look here. This is, I'll do a couple of patterns here, and then we will get back into what I really want to talk about. Okay, here is the crude oil. This is a daily chart going back quite a ways. You see we're making new highs now. Now, what I'd like for you to notice here, you see that price there at 70.56. I did a video this morning showing you why I didn't think that crude oil was going to get above 71.22. So far, the high has been 71.20. I will look at the dollar later, Ruby, but something's more important than that. I will look at the dollar. I've got a chart here for it on the euro, which is one we've talked about many times. But those are the main things that we want to look at. Pay attention to this crude oil, folks, because if we close above 71.20, that's going to be really a big breakout. Anything closing below 70.80 is very, very suspect. So that's the main thing that I'm looking at. We actually shorted it at 70.82. It broke all the way down to 70.10. And then which gave you your first profit objective, then went right back up again and went back and rallied a whole dollar up to 71.20, and now we're trading around 70.80 and change. But it's very, very important. No more different than what we're seeing in the stock market today, too. It's very important also. There's something that happened here last night, folks, that I have not seen in a very, very long time. I mean, really a long time. This is the E-mini S&P. It's the lead option now, which is the September. This was like 7 o'clock in the morning, New York time. You'll notice here how we left gaps at those. Folks, that's almost impossible in a market that's big. I mean, that trades a lot, thousands and thousands of contracts a day. And to see it at that time of the morning, because that's active time from 6 in the morning on, because people in New York start their days early. But to see that, now those gaps have all been filled and we went down and made new lows. But the fact that we saw those tells me that there is some illiquidity in the market. Now, I don't know if that means very much or not, but we had huge increases yesterday in the stock indices, every single one of them, the NASDAQ, the Russell, all of them, especially the S&P. Over 10,000 new people came into the market. Now, for every buyer, there has to be a seller. And the buyers were correct because the market was sharply higher yesterday. But remember, for every buyer, there has to be a seller. So the person that bought that had to sell it to somebody else. So somebody was going short up there. So I don't know who it was. It was not me. All right, let's take a look here. I want to go down history lane here just a little bit. This is very important to me, folks. Oh, no, where are the rest of the charts? Oh, here it is. Hold on just a second here. I got it right here. Boys and girls, you're going to see a picture that is very near and dear to my heart. You're looking at a picture there of John Hill on the left, and on the right is Ed Dobson of Traders Press. John fell and broke his hip on December of this past year, and he's been in a nursing home now, and he will remain there the rest of his days. He just turned 95. Ed came over to wish him a happy birthday. I spoke to John, but John did not remember me, believe it or not. Well, you can understand why. But folks, believe it or not, I'm sitting there chatting with John. Just how are you doing? And I happened to mention the Lindahl wiggle, and I could hear it in his voice how he lit up. When we started talking about charts, his mind was as clear as you could possibly imagine. But he couldn't remember me. So that's just the way it goes. But anyway, here's what you have to look forward to. I spent a good time chatting with him a little bit for what I could get, but I spent more time chatting with Ed Dobson. And the one thing that John does every day, and this is something you have to look forward, boys and girls, this is what John does every day. Let's get these up here and you'll be able to see it. There he is. His birthday was February 5th. He was born a few days before Reagan. But that's what he does. He sits there and he does his charts every single day out there on the patio over his apartment. And that's what he likes to do. You start talking about charts, he remembers everything. So let me give you a little history of John Hill. I've been doing this a long time. I've been able to share a lot of information through the years, make a lot of good friends, but it all started really for me in April of 1970 in San Francisco at the Stanford Hotel. They were having the Cyclotech meeting on cycles, and the whole world was there, and Peter Leides was there, who was a good friend of Eddie Horowitz, who was one of my best buddies, and Peter and I were good friends, and I was standing there with Peter, and up walked John Hill to say hello to Peter, and I didn't know that they knew each other. Peter introduced me to John Hill, and from that day on, he took me under his wing. That weekend, he showed me the Fibonacci sequence of numbers, and I got very excited about that. And he told me to look at this paper by Elliott, which I did, and then we talked about it, and we became I talked to him almost every day for 45 years, and he was just very instrumental. He had a wonderful library that he was shared with anybody that wanted to. He had a heart of gold. He left he's not gone, but his two sons, Lundy, and Lundy's the little one. John Jr. is the oldest, and Holly is a hedge fund manager out of Connecticut, her and her husband. They do treasury bonds only, and all the boys are still in the business, so he's just done a great job. But he did as well as he could probably do. Anyway, after meeting John, we became closer and closer, and then in 1980, when I was at Drexel, I went back and spent 2 weeks at the ranch. The ranch has now been sold to somebody else, and so it's all gone. Well, the ranch is still there, but none of the Hill people are there anymore. But we went back and we started working on the opening price. John Jr. was a junior at Duke University, and he had access to the computers. I had access to the mercantile data, and so we started running opening price to see how important the opening price was, and we already knew that it was because we had the work of Earl Haddady and Jim Sibbett, who I had knew back in the 60s. That's the 1960s, folks, not 1860s. So those are a few of the things that we did through the years, and we shared a lot of great information, wonderful stories. The first time Holly came to California to visit, I believe it was 1973. Yeah, it was about 3 years after I first met him. So they flew out to L.A., and I was living in Westlake Village. And I had a nice place all set up for him for the week. And I went to the airport to meet him. And I saw John getting the luggage, and I could see a picture in my mind of what Holly would look like. And she's a 16-year-old little girl standing there in L.A. And I'll finish this after we take a break. 877-927-6648.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the opening call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the opening call risk-free today.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks, I posted a chart. I slipped, folks. That chart that I posted just recently that John Hill was working on, that's a secret chart, so just disregard it. Put it in your trash bin and never to look at it again. And if you believe that, I still have 2 shares of the Brooklyn Ridge. Anyway, those are the kind of charts that John was working on every day. Getting back to John and Peter Elides. Peter Elides is really a brilliant guy. He's about 10 years older than me and still going strong. His son George is in the business. And Peter, it was a magician, a musician. He played the clarinet and the piano, and he also sang. And this was in the early days of 1960s. And he really was, and he's a very handsome fellow. Those of you who have ever seen him before, and he lived in the same building that Eddie Horowitz lived in, and so I got to hang around with him a little bit. But Peter has the most unusual chart that you'll ever see in your life. When Peter passes away, I don't know who will get it or how they'll bid it off, but he has an original chart, folks, from 1938 of the Dow Jones Industrial Average in a scroll. It's in a scroll. In other words, he rolls it out. I mean, this is a continuous chart. You should see this thing. It is an absolute incredible work of art. Even with the market, going straight up, he was able to put it together so that it's on one scroll and you can see the whole thing unfold. I mean, it's something that is just it's an absolute work of art, and he's very artistic, so he did it the right way. And in fact, I spoke to him last year and I asked him, "You still doing it?" He said, "Yep, every day." He said, "I never miss," and so they still do it. Okay, now I wanted to go through a couple other things that I know about John. I'll tell you a few stories. The first trip in 1980, when I went back to work on the opening price, I think I spent 3 weeks there at the ranch, and I had a brand new sports car. Started with a P. I can never remember. Was it Pontiac? No, something like that. Anyway, Lundy was 16, and he wanted to drive the car, and his dad said, "I don't think that's a good idea." And I said, John, I said, it's a car. It's not going to be any, he's not going to kill himself. He says, well, you never know, So anyway, I tossed Lundy the keys, and so I was staying at the ranch house. They had a beautiful little ranch house outside the big house where they had the office, had everything there that you could need. And the morning I got up and I saw the car was looking good and everything, and so everything went fine. And then I went to take a ride over to see Ed Dobson. When I got to the driver's side of the car, I saw there had been a slight bit of damage. He had been sideswiped by somebody, and it just literally, I couldn't even open the driver's side door. And so the first thing I did is I took it over to the dealer. I had to go over to a different city and gave it to the dealer and get it all fixed and everything. And everything worked out all right. But we never did tell John that Lundy had wrecked the car. But many years later, it was a big joke about it. But anyway, that's a few things. I had so many things I have for John that he's taught me. I mean, that his book, I don't know, you probably have a hard time getting the book now. I keep it here on my desk. It's the Commodity Trends. I can read the thing just a second here. Commodity Trend Analysis, I think it is. What's it called? Stocks and Commodities Market Trend Advanced Technical Analysis. If you ever get that book by John R. Hill, written in 1966, get it, because it's all about AB equals CD and Fibonacci. But that's how I learned it. I got started with that and all of the library books and one thing after another. So those are the few things that really tough talking to somebody like that doesn't remember you, that, was it was like a father to me. I mean, I was only 20 years, 15 years younger than him, but he was like a father to me. And it was really cool. Oh, I want to finish a story about Holly. Holly, we were at the airport, and I saw that John was getting the luggage, and I saw him quickly looking over his shoulder, because Holly was standing there by one of the pillars there by the baggage claim. So I walked up to her and I said, "Are you first time in L.A.?" And she sheepishly said, "Yes." And I said, "You want to buy some drugs?" And she said, "Daddy, Daddy." And John turned around and he just waved, and she says, "Oh." She said, "You've got to be Larry." And I said, "Yeah, it's me." Anyway, it was really quite, boy, she was a really beautiful girl. We were at dinner one night many years later. She was in her 20s, out of college, and Larry Williams was there, and Larry was putting all of his moves on Holly. He was race car type moves. He was doing everything he could. And finally, John says, "Larry," he said, "would you quit hustling my daughter at the table?" And she said, "Dad," she says, "I can handle it by myself. I'm used to people like him." And we always joked about that through the years. If you have any questions, 877-927-6648. I'll probably remember other things, but right now I'm a tiny bit choked up. Let's get back to the market. That's what you pay the big bucks for here. We're going to talk about the dollar for our good friend Ruby and the Romantics. Okay, Mr. Z is on the line. John, how are you? Uh-oh, maybe not. 10-4. Broadsword to Danny Boy.
I'm here, Larry.
Okay, what can I help you with, my friend?
Larry, your reminiscing brings back memories for me as well. Back in the mid-'80s, the first 4 market technician people I met were Farrell, Akampora, then Eliades, and Prechter. So quite a bunch of people back then.
Wow, that's that's long. I'm really thankful, John. I'm still able to do this, and it shook me up today though talking to John. Let me tell you, that was a little bit more than I was expecting. Ed Dobson warned me what it was going to be like, but God, just as soon as he started talking about charts, he was back in the game. You could ask him.
Selective memory. Yeah. Well, that happens.
Yeah.
Great to have that relationship over all those decades, though, Larry. That's just amazing. 5 of them. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's been a lot of time.
Say, I wanted to ask if you could pull up the November bean chart. Tell me if you think there's a potential top in place. Clearly, it's down from the Sunday high, but I'm wondering what you think.
I'll post that chart, Bubba. But let me tell you, I don't see anything on that chart that makes me think that it's topping yet. Let me get this up here, because I just looked at it last night because of the rain and stuff. They're having hot weather, but it's down from the high. But boy, this is not even anywhere close to a top. my friend. I mean, let's just get this up here. I don't know. Hold on just a second. Yeah, there we go. Hold on. Let's one at a time. Where are we trading at? Last price I had was around 14.50 or something, right?
14.32. It's faded off.
Okay, so it came off 14.32. That's not even a 3.82 retracement. And all we did was we came down and we haven't even taken out the lows of yesterday yet. So there's nothing topping about that.
Very good. I appreciate you sharing. I wanted to just share with you some things I'm thinking about. The next 4 weeks, I am getting psychologically prepared, to be a trader, but to see a move in either direction of up to $2 up or $2 down. Let me just share with you what I'm thinking. First, on the high side, I'm recalling back to the year 2012, the last time we had
John, we got to pay a few bills, buddy. Stay with us, and we'll be right back with Mr. Z, okay? We'll be right back, folks.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we're back at TFNN, and boy, is today your lucky day. We got one legend followed by another one. We have Mr. Z on the line, and we also have in the house none other than Rich Anderson. Rich, welcome to TFNN.
Harry, you've got John.
Well, evidently they told me that Rich Anderson was in the house, but he's not, so let's not worry about it. Go ahead, my friend. I thought he was calling in, but you were finishing up. Please, go ahead.
Yes, next 3-4 weeks, critical time. I choose not to forecast, but to prepare for scenarios. Market price might not move at all, but it could move sharply higher or sharply lower. Here's the bull case rallying $2 from here to 16.50. Kind of a repeat of the 2012 Corn Belt drought. Just for what it's worth, we'll recall back to 2012, the drought losses really took hold as far as buyers were concerned, starting the week of Monday, June 25th. And then it was just 4 weeks straight up. We have emerging drought in Iowa, heart of the Corn Belts, soybean belt too. So the bull case is this weather scare turns into the real adverse problem, and we get the rally because of smaller crop. The bear case is we've just gone through a scare, but it's not a drought, and this hot, dry weather reverses back to something more typical, more average, combined with possibly surprisingly large acres, additional acres planted, reported by USDA, and that comes, I think that's a Wednesday, June 30th. And I'll just share with you, back in 2014, the USDA reported the revised acres estimate on that June 30th report, showing a great many more acres than the trade had guessed, and the November soybean contract plunged. That was 2014. Back in 2019, something similar happened with corn. We will recall that in May of 19, that's just 2 years ago now, of course, we had an exceedingly wet spring, April and into May, that really postponed planting, and that December contract that year, just 2 years ago, rallied sharply. But farmers responded by planting fence post to fence post in June of 19. As soon as the rain, the soaking rains slowed down, and turned out lots of corn acres were planted and actually had a very good corn crop. And in that particular case, in 2019, the corn and the bean highs were registered early June. So I just share those sets of parameters with you. I'm going to be paying attention, and I've got my seatbelt fastened trading-wise for both corn and beans.
Mr. Z, we've got Rich Anderson on the line. Do you want to ask him any questions? Rich, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. 2012 seems to be the analog year so far for corn.
Well, there you two great minds think alike. Hey, thanks for joining us, Mr. Z. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and we'll enjoy listening to you and Rich. Thanks again.
Okay. Rich, is it true that it was almost 100 degrees on June the 10th in Minneapolis?
This hot weather that he's referring to, well, we've already had 9 days of above 90-degree weather here in Minnesota. And that, we go a lot of summers where we don't have that many in the whole summer.
Wow. That's really amazing. We're having a tremendous sell-off. We're off about 40 cents or so today in beans. This is the old crop beans. New crop beans are holding up pretty well. Is this mainly because supplies all come into focus again, or why are the nearby beans getting hit so badly?
Well, this is the last day of the Goldman roll for grain. And so they sell their July and they roll them out, It affects in the grain markets, it's not usually that big of an effect. So you've got a couple things going on. You've got these guys, moving positions around. They're selling the July and they're buying the August SEP or NOV, and they're selling the July and buying the Dees corn. And I mean, look at these July corn July corn's lost 40+ cents to Deese, but this should be the end of it. And don't forget that in May, as we got into May, as we will get into July here shortly, cash corn was trading above the board, and these guys will be scrambling out. This is the last day of the Goldman roll pressure on the front month. That's the way I see it. But it's completely a weather market. We're trading forecasts. Next Monday afternoon, they'll have the crop conditions, and they'll show that the corn and the beans all, I believe, both decline. The good index 3%.
Okay.
And that's pretty dramatic declines. I mean, a week ago we had a 24% decline in spring wheat in South Dakota. So we've got a lot of areas where they've needed some moisture. There's some moisture that came through North Dakota. Williston got good rains this morning, but there doesn't look to be anything behind it. You know, we were supposed to have rains at 6 o'clock. I'm still hopeful that something will develop. Each of the different weather maps, everybody gets the same satellite downloads from the government, right? They then run it through their computer programs, and they determine how they're going to deal with the different formations that they see. But right now, this is a rain that's come through, but it doesn't look like it's necessarily a pattern change, and that's what you need to look for. So I think there'll be some short covering as you go in later in the day. People will be low Sunday night, and then Monday morning you'll have a forecast, and then of course you have a midday forecast when about 11:30 the satellite dump comes down and they run it through their computers and they come out with their forecast, and everybody's watching the day to see if there's some pattern shift. That's what's going on. It's a tricky thing to do. The National Weather Service does as good a job as anybody, and the Weather Channel on TV is, you know, it's free, and that's,
yeah,
they all have their time in the sun.
Wow, that's really good. Now I'm on your side of on the plate with this one, Rich. I believe I'm looking for buying opportunities in the new crop conditions, but I'm also starting to look at July and August beans because they're so oversold. I think we're getting close to a pretty significant double bottom down here, possibly around $14.50 a bushel or so.
Yeah,
Rich, I'm laughing at myself. Here we are talking about beans at $14.50. When we met, beans were $3.50 a bushel.
I know, and it's
oh my God,
markets can move. I looked at the Deese corn, and let me tell you, we're worried about the weather. That's all.
Yeah, I bet there are. Stay tuned, folks. We've got Rich Anderson on the line. We'll be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with Rich Anderson. Rich, we have a question for one of our listeners, and is the price of farmland going crazy like some of the real estate we're seeing in the residential section?
It never weakened nearly as much as normal real estate when it was weak, because there's so many cash buyers out there, and land doesn't trade that often, and it's strong now. Because for the farmer, let's say we have a crop disaster this year, which right now it's looking like, they have crop insurance. And back when my dad was farming, there was no such thing as crop insurance. And if you had a wipeout, you were wiped out. That's no longer true because we have the crop insurance. So that's kept the price of land fairly stout. And there's just a ton of guys with cash, and most of the time they're cash buyers. They're not borrowing the money. And so that's kept it very firm. So if you're in an area where you've got big farmers who want to get bigger, price never went down, and it's still strong and been very strong.
Yeah, wow, I know it's really been something. I talked to Byron last night, and a real estate broker called him. He was in Connecticut in his home in Scottsdale that he paid $109,000 for, I think 14 years ago. He thought it was worth about $550, and a broker came in and offered him $775 without even seeing the inside of the house. I mean, I never heard anything so crazy,
That's what's going on in a house down in Florida that couldn't sell for 4 years at $450 sold for $850. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like it was back in 2008 when we had the the .com bubble. That was really something, Oh, well, That's neither here nor there. Rich, what do you think is the best opportunity coming up with all the stuff we got going on with all the rain? Is it corn? Is it beans? Is it meal, oil? Which one do you think is the best?
I'd have to say it's the corn. The June 30th acreage report is definitely something you have to watch out for. But, when it's 90 degrees for 9 days in a row, and that wasn't just in Minneapolis here. That's North and South Dakota. And keep in mind, in the last acreage, most of the extra acres of corn that were planted this year were planted in North and South Dakota. It's going to be hard for them to come in even close to trend yields. So I think it's the corn. You watch the crop conditions report that comes out after the close on Monday. Drop. Watch the poor to very poor, and those are the key measurements, and then you can kind of determine how that compares with other years like 2012, which is the analog year a lot of the guys are using right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes really good sense. Hey, listen, I want to thank you for being on today, my friend, and stay cool. We always joked over these 50 years, the two hottest days of, or the 2 days of summer were July 4th and 5th, but certainly been different this year. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, our forecast for next week is it cools off to 84 and then goes back up in the 90s. And there's a lot of years when we don't have 6-7 days of 90s through the whole summer, and we aren't even in July. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, especially with July and August coming up for sure.
And lacking moisture. So that's why I think these corn is the one.
Yeah, keep me informed of all the stuff you send me because I forward it on to the folks at TFNN. It's always helpful. But we're looking for a buying opportunity here in these old crop stuff here, probably coming into
absolutely. I like your July bean idea. I suspect that if it doesn't close under 1488 today, it's likely to maybe retest that area. Mm-hmm. There'll be buyers there, and then I think they'll be taking a shot at the highs. But the one that could have the real shortage is the corn. The way they squeeze the May corn, they could do that with the July.
Yeah, I think. Well, we've got something to really hang our hat on. I'll put this up. Stay with us for just a minute because you said 1488, and by golly, believe it or not, Rich, you're within 2 cents of the exact 61% retracement here on July beans. And not only that, but we're over a solar eclipse and new moon. And, so that's within a few days. So I'm thinking Monday or Tuesday, we'll probably be looking to be buying these at around 1480, 1488.
Yeah, that's last month's low, too. So they're going to flush and rinse. They're going to look for stops, try and hit the stops. Mm-hmm. Finding there are none, you know what happens.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, when Rich talks about he is they. Hey, Rich, thanks for joining us, buddy, and we'll have you on in a couple of weeks. Okay, pal?
You bet. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Rich Anderson, folks. Now we talked about the sugar. I posted a sugar chart for our young lady, Ruby. And as you can see, I put a square out there with the 3 drive to a top pattern that happened at 18. We used the weekly chart in the newsletter because it was so clear that it was such much resistance up there. And now within that red box, you can see a very clear head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, right shoulders equal from head to shoulder, shoulder to head, and right at a 78% level. So we should start seeing a little correction, which we've already seen so far in the sugar. So we'll be watching it. Regarding the chart that I just posted on the July beans, I'll be doing a special video on this for the 24/7 people coming in Monday. We'll refine where we want to be looking at this as the exact price. Right now, what we're looking at is just an approximation of where we're going to be. That's pretty much it. I just thought of a really fun story that John Hill told me at the very beginning when I first started using stops and stuff. And of course, remember when I met John, I was on my way up. I didn't top until July of 1974. So I had 4 years of real easy. I didn't really start learning until after that. Even though I had access to the stuff, I didn't know you had to read books to understand this. I learned by the school of hard knocks. But he had Hill's rule, and Hill's rules was always put your stop in because it's going to be within a quarter of a cent from where you're going to get out anyway. So that his rule was put the stop in, get stopped out near the high or the low, and then move on and do the next trade. The key to the whole thing was moving on to the next trade because once you get it off your books, you're okay. Nothing's worse than having a position 3, 4, 5 days, fighting with it, wondering it's going to turn, hoping it's going to turn, praying it's going to turn, when you could clear your mind and do something else and probably make a pretty good piece of change off of it. When I went to the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Barry Lind asked me the very first day, what can I do to make your stay here in Chicago more fun and profitable? And I said, if I have a loss at the beginning of the 3rd day, take me out. I don't even want to see the order. And he said, I can do that. And it happened 4 or 5 times. And folks, every time, if I would have just reversed, it would have made a lot of money. But it was very helpful to me because then I could focus on what I wanted to do. By the way, all 3 of those were in pork bellies. So, but I was a very good pork belly trader. That they swang to the tune of Fibonacci, pretty cool. We're going to take a little break here. 877-927-6648. and we'll be moving on. I have a funny story today. We have our neighbors putting on a roof, and the first people that did it wrong. The roof collapsed, so then they had to come in and rebuild the whole roof. That's what they've been doing all week. And today, one of the roofers fell into my backyard from the roof. Fortunately, he was not hurt. So, 877-927-6648.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Steve Rhodes. Stay tuned for another great hour of the Trader's Edge, heard here at TFNN.com.
Okay, without further ado, we're going to look at the U.S. dollar for Ruby. First, we'll look at the euro, which is the exact mirror image of the dollar. That's the one that is traded most actively. The dollar index isn't traded that actively. The euro is the most actively traded thing in the world. It doesn't even have anybody close to second place. Okay, as you see the U.S. dollar index that I posted, very interesting. You can see that we're staring at the 382 retracement, about 40 pips higher. That would be equal to what we're looking at here in the euro. So you need to watch the dollar index at 90.90, because if it stops there, folks, look out, because the people that have been talking about trouble with the dollar, their dreams could come true. Anything above 91.20 would say, nope, not this time. But by golly, you've got to really focus on this one, because it's lined up so perfectly that it's, we ought to be able to take a few bucks out of it. We had a good week last week in the euro. And so what we're looking at now is to see what this next pattern is going to bring. And we're very close. We're within a few days away. And because we're within a few days of this lunar eclipse, solar eclipse on the new moon, it's going to be very interesting to see if this cycle is in fact going to mean anything. But the key number in the U.S. dollar is 90.91, and the key number in the euro is, I believe, at 120.75. I haven't verified that yet. I just did it quick back of the tablet math, and I think I'm close, but I'll have more information on that Sunday night because I'll be following it very closely because there should be some really interesting things happening starting out here next week as we start the week. Well, we've had some wonderful times this week, so we're going to see. We had a nice run in gold, but the gold gave almost all of it back. We booked, well over $1,000 on it, and the market's now breaking below where we got out. So we had a beautiful 3-drive pattern last night on the 15-minute charts up there at 1905, but I was getting ready to send the video out. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and it was gone. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.